Before you start trying to identify birds, there's one thing you need to know. The most common birds are the most common. I wish somebody had told me this 50 years ago. You want to make bird identification easy? Start with easy birds. We'll do this at my house, and then we'll do it at yours. I'll prove the point. This part isn't important, but I live in Maine in a log cabin on a lake surrounded by loons and bears that knock over my bird feeders. You know, the neighbors have better food next door. The habitat is oaks and maples and birches and beeches, and also a lot of white pine, eastern hemlock and balsam fir, and it's like that all the way to the town line. It's also a dirt road all the way to the town line, so we're just going to walk this and tally up every bird we encounter. The first bird is a gimme. Eastern phoebes have been nesting in my porch or garage forever. Okay, wasn't expecting that to be the second bird out the door. Yellow-bellied sapsucker. There's the male eastern phoebe. Mostly we're just going to hear them. This isn't about identification tips. This is just about what is happening in my backyard and your backyard. I can already tell you what the number one bird's going to be. Red-eyed vireo. Inevitable song sparrow. Red-eyed vireo on this side. Red-eyed vireo on this side. Yep, almost always a pine warbler singing up there. And then there's the one back in my yard that just sang. 150 yards down the road, another red-eyed vireo on this side, another red-eyed vireo on this side. Now that I was not expecting. Black-billed cuckoo. I don't see them often, but they are in the area. They just happen to be so secretive. But this guy, he's as mouthy as can be right at the top of a tree. One American redstart. Did I hear another one? Yeah, we'll go with one for now. Pine warbler, again. Second yellow-bellied sapsucker. Great crested flycatcher, but he's kind of distant. Here's the problem for beginners. You open up the field guide, and in the book, every bird has its own page, as if they're all equal. They're not. Some vastly outnumber the others. Look, it's the same problem for experienced world travelers. You go to Costa Rica, you open up the field guide, everything is an ant wren, an ant pita, an ant shrike, an ant tanager. But they're not all equal. Get used to the common ones wherever you are. One good thing to know about your own backyard, birds are so picky, and they are so consistent year after year, even though they only live 2-3 years, songbirds. Generations will come back to the same exact spot. And there's a black and white warbler up there where there's always been one. Funny thing is, there's going to be another one just down the road. Same exact spot every year. Wow. Another red-eyed vireo. Who could have seen that coming? Hey, wait. Northern parula. Wasn't singing when I walked by it a moment ago, but it is now. Black and white warbler was singing in the exact same spot yesterday morning. There's always a common yellowthroat in here, and there still is. Only call notes, but that's 3 purple finches flying over. Black and white warbler singing right there, and the other one right up there. Usually they're not going to be that close to each other and sing, because one of them is going to get upset about it. Since the black-throated green warbler that nested in my yard was not singing this morning, that's the first one I've heard on this walk. Back from the road, out in the woods, red-eyed vireo, black and white warbler, again, red-eyed vireo, again, ooh, yellow-bellied sapsucker, number 3 back there. 1, 2, 3, I think 3 black-capped chickadees, but might be a 4th, we'll call 3. Red-eyed vireo, downy woodpecker. There's actually a lot of woodpeckers here. I can't believe that's the first one this morning. Right where he always is. Another pine warbler. Look, this applies even for the most experienced birder. I just got back from southeast Arizona where I had seen and heard virtually none of these birds. But within a few days, Madera Canyon, if I knew Bell's vireo, brown-crested flycatcher, Mexican jay, Lucy's warbler, canyon towhee, I knew much of what I was hearing without even trying. Yellow-bellied sapsucker. Okay, end of the line. This is my town line. See where it goes from dirt to pavement? I'm going back to the boondocks where I belong. I don't think I counted that black-throated green warbler. Gray catbird. Should have had that earlier, actually. There's usually one right up there. Yeah, there he is, another gray catbird. You slept kind of late. I'm going to guess that you're familiar with Merlin, the bird identification app from Cornell Lab of Ornithology. Listen, I highly recommend it. It's not perfect, but it's getting better. The one thing I would caution is because it's not perfect, don't trust it to be the final analysis of what bird you're seeing or hearing, because it does make mistakes, and some of them are really kind of funny. Blue-headed vireo finally singing on the return loop. Okay, just a quick walk around the house in my neighborhood, and we tallied 20 species with 49 individuals. 10 of those were red-eyed vireos. 4 yellow-bellied sapsuckers, 4 pine warblers, 4 black and white warblers. Out of those 20 species, 6 species were making half the noise. We'll do your house next. Call me when you're ready. Meanwhile, I gotta go speak to one of my neighbors. You've been a very naughty bear.